soy yo, Chingus. Welcome to this political, historical, and sociological channel. Today I want to talk with you about Nikola Tesla, but in record of Ragnarok and in real life. Well, Nikola Tesla was humanity's representative in the 8th round of Ragnarok, being defeated by Beelzebub. Known as the ultimate mad scientist of his time, Tesla is one of the most famous and renowned scientists of all time, due to this invention and discoveries that have changed the world forever. He is also known as the Child of Light, Hikari no Ko, and the only sorcerer in history, Jinru Chiyo Yutsushi no Mahotsukai. Nikola Tesla is a tall, young, slender man with curly brown hair parted in front. He wears a formal suit with a white shirt, black tie, and vest. He also wears white pants with a pair of boots and a long jacket, in which the lower left side is black mesh. Wears a feather pinned to the left lapel and glove only in the right hand. Hands have two rings in each finger. Tesla also wears glasses that hang from his neck. These glasses and this hairstyle seems to be inspired by his older brother James Tesla, whom he admired. As a consequence of his blunder, his body is now mostly covered in gold and blue armor, except for his head and face, which are covered in cybernetic material. Tesla is a man of science who deeply loves his work and the laws of physics. Because of this, he refused to let anyone compare him to magic. His passion for science can sometimes cause him to behave insensitive or rudely, as was seen when he began to touch and stare at Gondol to see if it was a material capable of making this theory a reality. Because of his love of science, he is also greatly intrigued by anything that might allow humans to advance, and is especially proud of them. The love of progress even led him to explain the strengths and weakness of his teletransportation ability, one of the few advantages he had over Beelzebub. In the midst of combat, his pride in progress accompanied him to the end, taking advantage of his last moments to deliver a speech to the rest of humanity, stating that as long as progress continued, mankind would light forever. According to Brunel, Tesla is the only human being in the entire history of mankind who can be called a sorcerer, because of his immense intellect and his creations, which have changed the world forever. This work has been compared to magic. Even the most brilliant minds of mankind, such as Thomas Edison and Marie Curie, have shown admiration for Tesla's intelligence, abilities, godlike endurance, and stamina. Tesla has demonstrated inhuman endurance, while his colleagues were fainting from exhaustion after helping him develop his blunder. Tesla showed no sign of fatigue. Mechanically improved physiology, genius intellect. He is possibly the most intelligent man who has ever existed in the history of mankind. Many of his inventions are taken for granted even today, with alternate current generators, radio equipment, and fluorescent lighting being just a few examples. After passing away, Nikola Tesla could continue to innovate and invent, managing to create autonomous pigeons of the super autonomous beta plane with the help of his fellow scientists. With the technology of this blunder, Tesla will be able to invent even more, being able to create an anti-gravity system to accomplish the feat of instantaneous motion, also known as teletransportation. Enhanced memory. Tesla has demonstrated the ability to remember information humanly well. He managed to memorize the theory needed to create his blunder effortlessly. Despite the formula taking up an enormous amount of space and various black bars in the room, full sponge, Tesla converts Gondol's life energy into ultra-high voltage inside Super Automata Beta. He then stores it inside his fist and realizes it instantly. A pulse jet punch. Tesla places his left hand behind him and releases a large amount of electricity to close the distance between him and his opponent. He then hits his opponent to his head with his right fist, releasing electricity at the same time. Matria's son. Tesla Vita super automaton, along with electricity, generates and disperses a particle called Tesla super particle. Once enough of these super Tesla particles fill the area, Tesla creates a cage of electricity around himself and his opponent. The cage measures 9.63 meters by 9.63 meters. Inside his cage, the Tesla coil of Tesla bundle reacts to the Tesla super Tesla particles in the air inside the cage, activates the anti-gravity system inside the suit. Tesla step or Tesla steppu, due to the fact that he can float inside the gematria zone, Tesla moves in up an unpredictable and strange way. To take it even further, he can use Tesla wonderful step. There's Tesura steppu wonderful, which is where he circles around his opponent so fast that he leaves numerous after image. While floating, Tesla lands so far back that he almost touched the ground. From that position, he continuously turns toward his opponent. Clasping his hands together, he crosses his legs and jumps towards his opponent while spinning and releasing PPP from his fist. Tesla warp. Perhaps the greatest ability of his suit, Tesla is able to teletransport. By making a bunch of attacks with his electrified fist, Tesla can create areas that have a high concentration of super Tesla particles. Tesla can only teleport to those particles dense locations by synchronizing the particles in those areas with the super Tesla coil of his bundle. The synchronization takes about 63 seconds to work. In addition, each time Tesla teletransports, a Tesla super coil is broken, which means he can only teleport 3 more times. Gondol, which is the suit's material, will be destroyed, which will also result in Tesla's. Also note that Tesla can only teleport within the confines of the gematria zone, as it is too dangerous to attempt to teletransport outside of it. The Super Automaton Vita is a divine weapon in the form of gold and blue mechanical armor designed by Tesla himself, with the help of his fellow scientists and provided by the bundle of the 9 Valkyrie gondol. It guarantees him additionally protection with a variety of other scientific powers, such as electrokinesis, levitation, and teletransportation. Serving American engineer and physicist Nikola Tesla made dozens of breakthroughs in the production, transmission, and application of electrical energy. He invented the first alternating current motor and developed AC generation and transmission technology. Though he was famous and respected, he was never able to translate these copious inventions into long-term financial success, unlike the first employer and main rival Thomas Edison. Nikola Tesla was born in 1856 in Smiljan, Croatia, when they were part of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. His father was a priest in the Serbian Orthodox Church, and his mother managed the family farm. In 1863, he lost his brother Daniel, and the shock of loss upset Tesla, who at age of 7 reported having visions, the first symptoms of loneliness he will suffer through his life. 1890s, Tesla invented electrical oscillators, counters, improved lights, and the high voltage transformers known as the Tesla coil. He also experimented with X-rays, demonstrated short-range radio communication 2 years before Guillermo Marconi, and piloted a radio-controlled bus around swimming pool in Madison Square Garden. Together, Tesla and Westinghouse illuminated the 1893 Chicago World's Fair and partnered with General Electric to install alternate current generations of Niagara Falls, creating the first modern power plant. In 1895, Tesla New York laboratory burned down, destroying years of notes and equipment. Tesla moves into Colorado Springs for 2 years and returned to New York in the 90s. He enlisted the support of financier J.P. Morgan and began building a worldwide communication network centered on a giant tower at Wandercliff, Long Island. But funds dried up and Morgan opposed Tesla's grandiose plans. He lived out his last decades in a New York hotel, working on new inventions even as his energy and mental health waned. His obsession with the number 3 and his fastidious grooming were considered eccentricities befitting a genius. He spent his last years feeding the city's pigeons and he claimed communicating with them. Tesla passed away on January 7th of 1943 in his room. The same year, the U.S. Supreme Court invalidated 4 of Marconi's major patents, blatantly recognizing Tesla's innovation in radio. In current system, he championed and improved remains the world standard for power transmission. After Nikola Tesla was found lifeless in January 1943, in his New York hotel room, representatives of the U.S. government Office of Foreign Property seized many documents and related to the world that Brian and prolific 86-year-old inventor. At the height of World War I, Tesla claimed to have invented a powerful particle beam known as the ray that could have proved invaluable in the conflict. So, rather than risk Tesla's technology falling into the hands of American enemies, the government stepped in and seized all property and documents from his room of New York hotel. What happened to Tesla files thereafter, as well as that exactly was in those fields, remains shrouded in mystery and it reveals conspiracy theories. After years of questions about possibly cover-ups, the FBI finally declassified some of 250 pages of Tesla-related documents under the Freedom of Information Act in 2016. The Bureau followed with 2 additional releases, the last in March of 2018. But even with the release of these documents, many questions remain unanswered and some Tesla's files are still missing. 3 weeks after Tesla passed away, electrical engineer at Massachusetts Institute of Technology, known as MIT, was commissioned to evaluate his papers to determine if they contained any ideas of significant value. According to the classified files, Dr. John G. Trump, uncle of ex-President Trump, reported that his analysis showed Tesla's efforts to be primarily speculative, philosophical, and promotional in nature, and said the papers did not include some of workable new principles of methods of realizing such results. I would like to know in the comments what do you think about this, because I think he was the most important scientist of our era, and it's very sad that he died poor and everybody thought he was crazy, when all his life all people take away his ideas and don't give anything to him in change. I would like to know in the comments what do you think about this. If you like, I would love if you give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and share to get more people. Thank you very much and see you next time. Bye. 泣いちゃダメでも本当は言いたい